Victoria, back to you with another review for The Never Ever Met, Season 1, Episode 6, called Pushing Beds and Boundaries. So we're picking up where we left off last week with Aaron Age going at it with Diamond's sister Irene. And, they end up splitting up with Irene talking with Diamond, Aaron Age talking with his friend Ronald. And we got Millie walking up to Diamond saying she wants to meet Irene. Diamond was like, no, the hell you don't. So then that's when Millie was like, okay, never mind. Millie, they just got in an argument. What you trying to talk to her for? Let Irene go cool off or something, and Millie, come on now. So then we have Diamond trying to talk to Aaron Age, but then she sees off in the distance inside the house that Irene is like trying to leave, so she goes after Irene. The producer gets involved and tries to go talk to Irene. So then that's when I think Diamond does get emotional. I believe I feel like I hear her crying. So then Millie and Aaron Age tries to go talk with Diamond. So it's pretty much like everybody just trying to figure out how to make everything cool, calm, cool, collective and whatnot. For me, I just feel like, was Aaron H in the wrong for calling her a B? Yes, just like y'all don't be liking when females be calling you a B. It's like y'all shouldn't really be calling females B. I understand why he got a little extra triggered because she did say something about his kids, but at the same time, y'all was both going at it, like y'all both went from 0 to 100 real quick, the both of y'all. So y'all are both to blame. You apologize, which we'll get to in 2 seconds, literally. Irene didn't apologize, she just, standing 10 toes down and saying, oh, if he's willing to talk to this like me, clearly you can see that this is not the guy for you. So Diamond still won't stick beside him, but that's beside the point. So it ends up with later that night, Diamond and Irene kind of, I don't know if you could consider it making up, but to the point where Irene, they leave off on decent terms by the time Irene leaves. And then Diamond and Aaron H sit down to talk. Aaron H apologizes for his behavior and tells Diamond that he's in love with her. Not only that he loves her, but he's in love with her. So Diamond appreciates and accepts his apology. And then they say goodbye to Ronald. So, that's where we kind of end off with their little riffraff situation. I'm just kind of just like, I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, we're going to argue right now and then we're going to make up 2 seconds later. So it's just basic drama that's not going to stop a relationship from being a relationship. At the end of the day, we already know Aaron H is kind of low-key, high-key, a little high-head, but I'm going to stick beside him. So then we get to Chris and Sandia. They finally, showing each other some attention, more so Chris to Sandia, because Sandia's always been for Chris, but, Chris be us a little confused. But, he's showing her some attention. They flirting and stuff. Chris letting us know he ready to go to Pound Town with Sandia. They're in the room with Aaron J. And Chris asking Aaron to turn around. Aaron don't move, and then Chris calls him, I don't know if he called himself, I don't remember. But I'm just like, Aaron J, good for you. Because it's like, listen, this is my room too. If y'all want to do whatever y'all going to do, whatever, that's on y'all. But I'm not going to turn myself because you asked me to. No, I sleep here too. If I want to lay on my back, I'm going to lay on my back. So that's what Aaron J did. We're going to learn later that, he was doing some booty bursts. That's what he calls it. But look, at the end of the day, if y'all trying to get it in, if Sandy is cool with it and you cool with it, y'all want y'all privacy, there's plenty of places you could go get some privacy. And now I understand the bed is more comfortable. I understand. But if you really wanted your privacy to get it in, what the heck did I do? Hold on. My bad. So if y'all really wanted y'all privacy to get it in, however y'all can get it in by yourselves, you could find a way. But like I understand you wanted the bed, but just like y'all moved the bed later on in the episode, y'all could have moved the bed or find a little corner by yourselves to do what you got to do. So I don't want to hear it. So then we get to Aaron J and Jody. They sit down and talk a little bit. What they talk about, random stuff, whatever. I'm going to move right along. We get to Greg, Chris, Josh, and Aaron H standing and talking. Greg wants Chris and Millie to kind of talk, hash out the little riffraff they had the other day or that morning or the morning before, where they kind of got into a little riffraff about Chris and Jody. So Millie tries to speak and tell her side of things and her perspective on things. And she is talking a little bit passionately, but, Chris takes that as like, oh, she's raising her voice, so he's not really feeling that too much. And, he wants to kind of end the convo and leave. And I understand if you're not really comfortable with the way someone's talking to you, it's like it makes you not want to continue conversation with them. But I feel like, not even with Chris, but like some people in general, it's like, listen, I'm just trying to explain to you my perspective. Yes, it may come off as a little passionate or like aggressive in his perspective, but to the point where you just want to end conversation and leave. Like, I don't like that. Like, if I'm trying to explain myself, don't cut me off, because you're gonna, that to me, it feels like you're trying to belittle me. So it's like, I didn't really appreciate him doing that. Yes, I get that, she was calling him the B word and stuff, but you could be like, hey, I don't appreciate you calling me that. You don't have to call me names, all that stuff. I'm not calling you names and whatnot. And, it ends up with her saying that he ain't shit and whatnot. So, of course, that's like his end all be all. And then that's when he gets up to leave. And then she's like, see, now you're walking away like a bitch. And now, now she called him the B word again. So I get guys feeling disrespected with the girls calling them the B word. But it's just like, what are you going to do with that information? So Chris does try to leave and goes to the fellas to try to explain what done happened. So, but Millie goes after him, and they ended up getting into a back and forth where Greg trying to hold Millie back, got Aaron Jay, and then eventually Sandia trying to hold Chris back. Chris ends up calling Millie a slut, and I'm just like, I mean, all of this is uncalled for. Like, just because, someone calls you your name doesn't mean you have to call them a name back. But it's like, I'm not going to necessarily, like, is it the right thing to do? No, but like, I can understand in the moment, you feeling some type of way, like you could try and come at me, so all bets are off. I'm gonna, come at you 2 times harder. So like, I get it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, Chris, you got things to work on. You got a lot of things to work on. So like, Millie telling you how she felt about the situation, I agree with Millie. Like, the way she went about it may not have been the best. Like, I may not have went about it the way that she went about it, but she's a hothead. And Chris, you just, I feel like you don't respect women. I mean, let Sandia tell her you do, but it's just like, Sandia, you're in delusion right now. So like, I can't even take your defense for Chris serious, because it don't make no sense to me. But anyway, we then have Greg trying to talk to Millie. He's telling us in the confessional he really don't understand why they're so combative with each other and whatnot. At first I was gonna be like, oh, maybe it's like sexual tension, but it's like, I don't even know if it's necessarily that. I just feel like she is catching Chris on BS, which we've all been catching Chris on BS since episode 1. So it's just like, she's the one who's just saying something about it. And whereas Chris, he already don't be looking at women as, a prize. He sees himself as the prize. So when you have someone that's kind of going against you, you definitely gonna look at her as enemy. So as the ops, as people like to say nowadays. So he don't understand, but it's like, I could kind of understand, but like, at first I did think it was like sexual tension, because I feel like low-key Chris want to F everybody. And then we have Sandia talking to Chris. Aaron H comes in to kind of be the comedic relief in that moment. But then we end up getting Millie talking to the girls about the situation, and that's when Sandia comes to defend Chris, saying, oh, he said you were talking to him aggressive, raising your voice, and you did call him some names, so you shouldn't have done that, blah 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 blah. Okay, so like I said, Sandy, I know that's your man. You're gonna stick beside him, and you're gonna defend him and whatnot, just like Aaron H try to come to the defense of Diamond and say, you Jody, I don't F with you. I never F with you. Yeah, Sandy, I'm not, whatever you say, Sandy, I already know it's just to stay on Chris's good graces. Okay. Even if Chris was right in the situation, you like, Sandy, honestly, let's just stay quiet. Like, I'm not trying to tell you not to have a voice, but clearly, you want to be quiet because your man be doing the most sometimes. But, now you want to have a voice when it comes to somebody else, but you can't stand up to your own man. But I'm wrong. Like, I ain't shit for saying that, though. But it's like, Sandia, don't be trying to come to have all your smoke for me when you can't even talk to your mere man. That's not even a man officially, because he doesn't take what you say, like, he takes it as so emotional and stuff. Like, he don't really respect what you say or your feelings and whatnot. He thinks they're invalid and stuff. So, why don't you figure that out first before you try to come to me, defend your man to me. Why don't you defend yourself to your man? But he's not even your man. Mm-hmm. But Sandy, I still love you. You know what I'm saying? He's always got to stick together. But at the same time, Sandy, I'm looking at you very side-eyed. But you're in delusion. So it's like, there's a lot of people in delusion. A lot of people in delusion. So, I ain't even going to hold you to it too much. And then we get to Aaron J's dad. He comes to visit. His name is Matthew. They play pool and talk. They talk about sex. And I'm just kind of like, I mean, you know what? That's a great relationship. Can I do that with my parents? Hell no. My mom does try sometimes, but I'm just like, Mom, can we not? Can we not? Like, no, please. I don't desire to talk about sexual relations with my mother. No. But those who have those type of look, hey, to each your own. So then we have Jody's best friend Kim coming to visit. They sit down and talk, and I'm like, I like Kim's energy. It seems like her and Jody be having a good time, good vibe when they go out with with a group of friends and stuff. It's like I would want to be a part of that group. Low key, high key. I would like to be a part of that group because they seem like they would have a good time. Plus, her friend Kim is gorgeous, beautiful. So then we have Aaron Age. He tries to meddle and talks to Matthew about Jody, like to kind of watch out for Jody. Matthew kind of just like, why are you so pressed about it? Aaron Age, please sit your ass down somewhere and redo your nails or something, homeboy. Like, I need to redo mine. Because what are you meddling in somebody else's relationship for? You need to figure out your situation with your soon to be sister-in-law, since you want to propose to Diamond and everything. Stop trying to meddle into other people's situation when clearly you got a lot going on in your situation too. Anyway, we then move on to Matthew, Aaron, Jay, Kim, and Jody sitting down to talk. Ends up with Jody and Matthew salsa dancing together, and then eventually Kim and Matthew leave. The salsa dancing looked nice. I'm not gonna lie, the way Jody was impressed by Matthew salsa dancing. She's I felt like she looked, he was like, dang, Aaron J, why can't you, salsa dance like this? Why can't you do all that? You need to have your daddy teach you more things. She didn't say none of this. But in my brain, I'm thinking that's what she's thinking. The way she was like, oh, okay, kind of blushing and stuff after they, after he little dipped her and stuff like that. I'm just like, you like this, don't you, Jody? I feel like with a lot of all the other guys, Jody is like, all right, I'm cool, with Dominique, with Quiz, and now with Aaron J, Daddy, Matthew. So it's like you have all this good energy for all these other men, but when it comes to Aaron J, it's kind of just screw it. I don't know if it's because that's your man or someone you're talking to. So it's like you feel more on the defense, but you should feel more comfortable with someone you're talking to versus all these other guys that you're meeting for the first time. I don't know. It just, to me, it's kind of like, if you don't like homeboy, why don't we just end this shit? No, that's not what we're gonna do. We're just gonna try to get through this whole damn season, pretend like y'all really about to be something when it's coming very apparent to all of us that that's not the case, and that's not what's going to happen. But we're just going to keep going with the flow, huh? Okay. So then we have Greg, Chris, and Aaron H chilling in the jacuzzi to talk. Aaron calls Diamond perfect. Chris doesn't really agree. Chris, we don't care what you think, okay? Is Diamond perfect? No, nobody's perfect. Yes, you're right. Nobody's perfect, Chris. But at this point, I was about to call you girl. My bad, sir. Who cares, okay? If fucking Aaron H thinks Diamond's perfect, that's his, what, okay. Let him think she's perfect. He said he gonna propose to her before they leave. The guys respect it. Okay, good, let's move on. We didn't need this scene. So then we get to Millie and Greg, they talk. She tells Greg that she has been sexually assaulted. She's been R-word before. She gets emotional, and Greg does seem like he's doing his best to comfort her. So it's this is one of those scenes where it's just I get everything you're saying, Millie. I do get everything you're saying. And this is something that's you definitely should seek getting professional help. One session that you're about to have with this relationship expert is not going to be enough, clearly. Especially that the way you was reacting in that session, we'll get to it. But I'm just you definitely need probably counseling or something like that, because it seems like it's affecting you more than you think it's affecting you. So then we get to the guys sitting together, talking to Aaron J about his booty bursts, his farts and whatnot, and how he needs to find a way to sleep with his girl, because all the men are kind of shacking up with their girls in different rooms and whatnot. So Aaron J is the only one who's not really sleeping next to Jody, so needs to find a way to sleep next to Jody. So they move his bed next to Jody, and it looks like later that night, Aaron gets up to push his bed closer to Jody. I guess the next morning, he tries to kiss Jody on the forehead while she sleeps. I guess she's triggered by that because of her past sexual trauma. And she's pissed. So they kind of sit down and talk. Aaron J does apologize. And Jody accepts, it seems like. But she was just giving him the stank look. I mean, maybe it's because she just woke up too. And that's she's still triggered and whatnot. But she was just giving him the stank look. Especially with the bags under her eyes. I'm like, ooh, girl. Okay. Past sexual trauma. I can understand. I get it. Okay, you saying he's doing something to you while you were sleeping and you waking up to that, so that definitely made you feel something. Okay, I can get it. I can understand you feeling some type of way, that you felt pressured and all that. Okay, I'll give you that. But to me, I just really feel if it's this bad, if your sexual trauma is this bad, you shouldn't even be in a relationship. You shouldn't be pursuing no type of relationship. You should be trying to seek professional help to help you get over this trauma, to the point where if you're dating someone for some amount of time, them trying to kiss you on the forehead while you sleep to wake you up or whatever shouldn't, trigger you in this way. I get it, Jody, but at the same time, it's like, why are you in a relationship then if something like this is going to trigger you? You should really be trying to work on overcoming that. And it confuses me because then the next scene we have her trying to explain to Josh and Chris the way why she reacted that way, because of her past sexual trauma, being sexually abused, and her being a sexologist to help people who have the same trauma as her, like, overcome those sexual fears or whatnot. But for me, it's kind of like, it's clear you're not over, or you have not overcome your sexual trauma, but you're going to help someone else overcome their sexual trauma. That makes no sense. How are you going to help someone overcome their sexual trauma when you have yet to do that for yourself? Maybe you should do that for yourself first before trying to help others, and also before trying to get into a relationship. I mean, we have Chris trying to, in a good way, defend Aaron J's action in a positive way, saying, oh, us fellas were, kind of getting on him, blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, that is, okay, you can apologize for that. We appreciate you for that, Chris, because, I don't appreciate you for nothing else. As a fellow Zoe myself. But it's just like, for Jody, I'm just kind of like, maybe you shouldn't be on this show. Maybe you shouldn't be in this relationship. Maybe you shouldn't really be practicing your sexologist for the reasons you're saying you are, because you have yet to help yourself. How are you going to help somebody else when you have yet to help yourself? That's all I'm saying. That's it. But, to each your own. But it's like, I would suggest, Jody, you probably should work on overcoming that yourself before trying to pursue something with anybody. And then we lastly have Taronda having Greg and Millie sit down with a relationship expert to talk about their past sexual trauma. So we first talk with Millie, we have Millie talk about her past sexual trauma and whatnot. But it's like, you know what? I'm gonna give this relationship expert like a 9.7 out of 10. Because I noticed while they was talking, like, she was looking back and forth for Millie and Greg, and she was very good on body language and how they're reacting to stuff, like to the other person talking and whatnot. Because I guess when Millie was talking about her past sexual trauma, she seen that Greg was looking off into the distance and stuff, and it was asking him what that's about. So then he kind of brings to the table that, listen, he too has past trauma. Whether it's sexual or not, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out next week. Well, I mean, next week is this week. The next episode's already there. I gotta, I'm a little bit behind. I gotta get better, bro. Like, I'm sorry. A Friday having a show, side note, like, this show's on Friday. Weekends is like, I'll be chillaxing. I'll be resting. So it's like, I just have to be putting my head, oh yeah, I gotta watch the show and do a review. It's not like I hate the show, but it's just like, when it's on a weekday, it's like, okay, I'm going to work and stuff. Weekends, I just be chilling. And then by the weekday, it's just like, enough about me. Okay, we're back to the show. So he makes mention he too has past trauma. Millie immediately rolls her eyes, and I'm like, whoa. You're like, why are you dismissing his past trauma for? Because I feel like she takes it as like, oh, you're taking the shine away from me. It's like, now I'm finally speaking about it, and now you're talking about you have trauma too. Like, it's not about you, just about me. But it's like, no, it's about the both of y'all, because y'all seeing a relationship expert to talk about your relationship and about your past traumas and how it can, how we can move forward in a relationship with that. So we can't just acknowledge yours. If he has past trauma too, that needs to be acknowledged and addressed so we can try to move forward to make this relationship work. What are you, like, why are you reacting this way? So she was rolling her eyes, kind of like, oh, what you about to say? Like, you got trauma? It's like, this is not a competition, Millie. Like, if he really does have trauma, like, that should be talked about. Now, what it is, we don't know. We're going to find out next episode, which I'm about to watch in literally 2 minutes from now. I just really didn't like her reaction, and I'm glad that the relationship expert clocked in and was just like, what's with all these, different reactions you got going on? So it's just like, Millie, I like you, but it's like, you reacting like this is kind of making me look at you hella side-eye, because it's like, the fact that it's like, I feel like you're about to dismiss his trauma because it may not have been as bad as yours, or is like, because he's like stealing your funk or something is very weird activity to me. And I don't appreciate that shit. Because everybody got their own trauma, everybody got their own situation that they've gone through, and just because it may not have been as bad as yours doesn't mean it hasn't been very traumatic for that person who went through it. So it's like I'm gonna have to find out next episode, what happened or how she feels about it. But it's just like it's giving me like, oh, I don't really care about your trauma because mine is worse or whatever. It's just like, Millie, that's fucked up. That's fucked up if that's the case. But we'll have to find out, not even next week, but in 2 minutes. So, you're going to get this review and another review before the end of tonight. I promise. Because I got to get back on my grind. I've been slacking big time. But if you made it to the end of this review, you still watching me, you still rocking with me and whatnot, I appreciate you so much. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you laughed at least once, please subscribe. If you already subscribed, you the best, you the bomb.com. Tell me what you thought about this episode. Leave it down below, comment down below, all that stuff. Be easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.